Have you ever felt like peace is something you lost along the way? Like it's hiding somewhere just out of reach, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect circumstances, the perfect version of yourself to finally appear? What if I told you that the peace you're searching for has been with you all along, and one simple story might help you remember it? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, everything might shift. This is the story of a woman named Sarah, and the day her entire world changed, in the quietest way possible. Sarah was exactly like most of us. She had a good job that exhausted her, a comfortable apartment that never quite felt like home, friends who knew her well enough, but not deeply, and inside her chest, a constant hum of anxiety that had become so familiar she'd almost stopped noticing it. Almost. At night, when everything went quiet, she'd feel it, that persistent whisper telling her something was wrong. Not dangerously wrong, just incomplete. Like she was a puzzle missing a piece she couldn't even name. One autumn morning, Sarah's alarm didn't go off. She jolted awake 90 minutes late, her heart immediately racing. The familiar panic flooded in. The meeting, the presentation, my boss, this will derail everything.
She rushed through her apartment like a tornado, spilling coffee, mismatching socks, rehearsing apologies in her head. As she grabbed her keys and flung open the door, she nearly collided with her elderly neighbor, Mr. Patterson, who was sitting on the hallway floor. "Mr. Patterson, are you okay?" Panic shifted to concern. He looked up with the calmest expression she'd ever seen. "Oh, I'm fine, dear. I dropped my keys, and while I was down here, I noticed something." Sarah glanced at her phone. She was now 93 minutes late. Noticed what? The way the morning light comes through that window. He pointed to the hallway window she passed every single day, but had never truly seen. It creates this pattern on the floor, like golden rivers. I've lived here 14 years and never stopped to look at it. Sarah's entire body was screaming at her to leave, to run, to fix the disaster of her morning. But something made her pause. Maybe it was the stillness in his voice. Maybe it was exhaustion from years of running. She looked at the window, and for the first time in longer than she could remember, she stopped. The light was beautiful. Not Instagram beautiful or worth photographing beautiful. Just quietly, honestly beautiful. Golden streams stretching across worn carpet, dust particles floating like tiny stars. The simple fact of morning happening whether she was late or not. "How long have you been sitting here?" she asked, her voice softer now. "Oh, maybe 10 minutes. I could get up, my knees still work, mostly, but I realized I was enjoying this too much to rush." He smiled. "You know what I discovered? The world doesn't end when you stop pushing it forward." Sarah sat down beside him, not because it was logical, not because she'd made a decision, but because something in her recognized a truth she'd been running from. They sat in silence for 3 minutes. Just 3 minutes. Sarah watched the light. She heard her own breathing, really heard it, for what felt like the first time in years. She noticed the weight of her body against the floor, the subtle smell of Mr. Patterson's coffee, the distant sound of traffic that wasn't urgent, just there. And in those 3 minutes, something extraordinary happened. Nothing. Absolutely nothing happened. The world didn't end, her job didn't disappear, her entire life didn't collapse. In fact, for 3 minutes, there was no problem to solve, no future to worry about, no past to regret. There was just light on carpet, breath in lungs, and the strange forgotten sensation of being exactly where she was. "This is it, isn't it?" Sarah whispered. "What's that, dear?"
This is what I've been looking for.
Peace isn't
This
hiding.
stillness, this quiet. I've been chasing it everywhere. In vacations, in meditation apps, in self-help books. And it was just here, in a hallway, on a random Tuesday. Mr. Patterson nodded slowly. Peace isn't hiding from you, Sarah. It's what's left when you stop hiding from yourself. Sarah did eventually get to work. She was 2 hours late. There were consequences, a frustrated boss, rescheduled meetings, some uncomfortable conversations. The practical world didn't pause because she'd had a moment of clarity, but something fundamental had shifted. As she sat at her desk that afternoon, the familiar anxiety tried to creep back in. The voice that said she was behind, that she was failing, that she needed to be somewhere other than where she was. But this time, she recognized it as just a voice, not the truth. Just a habit of thinking she'd practiced so long it had become automatic. She took a breath. She felt her feet on the floor. She looked at her hands on the keyboard, really looked at them, and saw them as if for the first time. These hands that had typed millions of words, that had held people she loved, that were somehow, miraculously, hers. And there it was again, that peace. Not as a feeling she had to chase or create or deserve, just as what remained when she stopped arguing with the present moment. Over the following weeks, Sarah began to notice something remarkable. The peace she touched that morning in the hallway wasn't a one-time accident. It was always available. In line at the grocery store, in traffic, in difficult conversations, even in moments of genuine sadness or challenge. Peace, she discovered, wasn't the absence of difficulty. It was the presence of acceptance. It was the space that held all of her experiences, the good, the bad, the mundane, without needing any of them to be different. One evening, Sarah ran into Mr. Patterson again. She thanked him for that morning, for the unexpected gift he'd given her. He chuckled. "I didn't give you anything, dear. I just stopped running long enough for you to remember you could stop too." "But how do I keep it?" Sarah asked. "How do I not lose this again?" "You will lose it," he said gently. "Many times. Life will catch you up in its urgency. Your mind will convince you that peace is somewhere else, in some future moment when everything is resolved. That's not a failure. It's just the human experience." He leaned on his cane, his eyes bright with something Sarah now recognized as that same quiet peace. But every time you forget and then remember, the memory gets stronger. The way home gets shorter. You're not learning something new. You're unlearning the belief that you were ever separate from peace in the first place. Sarah thought about this, about all the years she'd spent searching, striving, convinced that peace was something she had to earn or achieve or become worthy of. "So it's always been here?" "It's always been you," Mr. Patterson corrected. "Peace isn't something you have. It's something you are, underneath all the noise. Like the sky is always blue even when it's covered in clouds. The clouds are real. Your problems, your emotions, your challenges are real, but they're not who you are. You're the space that holds them all." Sarah's story is your story. It's my story. It's the human story. We're all rushing through hallways, convinced that peace is waiting somewhere ahead. After this project, after this achievement, after we fix ourselves, after life finally cooperates. We've created an entire industry around finding peace, as if it's a destination we need a map to reach. But what if peace has been walking with you every step of the way, patient as your own shadow, waiting only for you to stop running long enough to notice? Right now, as you're watching this, you can feel it. The weight of your body wherever you're sitting or standing. The breath moving in and out without your effort. The awareness that's watching this moment unfold. That awareness isn't anxious. It isn't worried about tomorrow or replaying yesterday. It's just here, peaceful, complete. That's not a special state you achieved by watching this video. That's what you are always underneath the thinking mind that's constantly trying to improve the present moment. The peace you're seeking isn't hidden. You've just been looking past it, through it, around it, for something more complex, more distant, more difficult to reach. But here's the beautiful truth. You can stop searching now. Not because you found it, but because you've remembered that you never lost it. It's been here all along. Quiet, patient, waiting for nothing. Just here. And so are you. If this story touched something in you, if it awakened even a glimpse of the peace that's been hiding in plain sight, share it with someone who might need this reminder today. And maybe, just maybe, the next time you're rushing through your day, you'll remember to stop, to look for the light on the carpet, to feel your breath, to come home to the peace you've always been. Thank you for being here. Thank you for stopping long enough to listen. Until next time,